Morning. In our previous discussion, we have discussed about knocking. What is knocking? The working of engine. What is explosive combustion? Isn't it? What are the adverse effect of knocking? How to prevent knocking? So one of the technique to prevent knocking is using anti-knocking agents. So today we're going to discuss what are anti-knocking agents, how knocking is prevented using anti-knocking agents. Knocking also can be prevented using power alcohol, by use of power alcohol. What is power alcohol? What are the adverse effects of, what are the advantages of power alcohol? What are the disadvantages of power alcohol? That we are going to discuss today in our discussion. So, anti-knocking agents are certain chemical substances in presence of which knocking tendency of the fuel will be prevented. So anti-knocking agents are certain chemical substances which when added, knocking of the fuel will be completely inhibited. So what are those chemical substances? Normally used anti-knocking agents are tetraethyl lead, tetramethyl lead, mixed tetraethyl and methyl lead. Tetraethyl lead is called as TEL, tetramethyl lead is called as TML. So how does this work? Let us see. So what happens? This tetraethyl lead and tetramethyl lead will form lead and lead oxide free radicals. We know that in the second step, why here knocking occurs. So when the fuel undergoes ignition, fuel air mixture will be in the first stroke, the fuel air mixture will be sucked. In the second stroke, the fuel air mixture will be compressed. Third stroke, the fuel air mixture should be ignited. So knocking occurs because one thing is compression ratio. The second thing is, in the second step itself, the fuel air mixture undergoes ignition. So in the TEL and TML when added, lead and lead oxide free radicals will be formed. This lead and lead oxide free radicals will inhibit fuel from undergoing ignition in the second step. It will inhibit the fuel from forming the intermediates. It enhances the fuel forming more smooth combustion. So therefore fuel will not undergo knocking. So early 1980s or 1990s used to have two types of petrol. One is leaded petrol, other one is unleaded petrol. So this leaded petrol used to be cheaper than the unleaded petrol. Why? The leaded petrol when used, so through the exhaust, lead and lead oxide used to be eliminated, which when inhaled used to cause many health disorders. Therefore, slowly we stopped using this leaded petrol, instead started using unleaded petrol. But what about knocking? Knocking also should be minimized, right? So we started using some organic agents instead of TEL and TML. So the petrol which contains some organic additives in place of TEL and TML is called as unleaded petrol. What are those organic additives? That is ethers. Usually used ether is methyl tertiary butyl ether. So the oxygen present in the ether will help to the fuel to undergo, will promote more smooth combustion and avoids the formation of intermediate, that is dimethyl peroxide. Therefore, knocking will be prevented. So this unleaded petrol can be used in the vehicles which have catalytic converter. And this unleaded petrol, since you can use this, so if you're using leaded petrol, it will poison the catalytic converter. But this unleaded petrol will not poison the catalytic converter. Okay. So these are, this is what your anti-knocking agents. So we can also minimize knocking by using power alcohol. What is power alcohol? So when alcohol, that is especially ethanol, is mixed with especially ethanol, is mixed with petrol, and if it is used as a fuel, it is known as pour alcohol. So now the question is, how much percentage of ethanol is mixed with petrol to get pour alcohol? So nearly 25%. For example, if you are using 1 liter of petrol, then for that 250 ml of alcohol will be mixed and 750 ml of water will be 750 ml of petrol will be there. Okay, so that is 25% and maximum is 25%. So 25% of ethanol will be there in the pour alcohol. So the alcohol and petrol both are immiscible liquids. So if it is immiscible liquids, what is the use? What do you mean by immiscible? When you take water and oil, will it mix? No way. It will form two phases, or either water or oil. Depending upon the density, it will be there. So even here alcohol and petrol, so it will form two layers. When you add, depending upon the density, first either alcohol will go into the engine or petrol will go into the engine. So now how to make it a single mixture? So we're going to add certain agents called as blending agents. What are those agents? That is, you're going to add benzene, ether, etc. So in presence of this, alcohol and petrol forms a single phase liquid, single phase solution. Therefore, it can be used as a normal fuel. Okay. So what are the advantages of using pour alcohol? So pour alcohol have the alcohol present in the pour alcohol will absorb the moisture present. It promotes more smooth combustion. Okay. So since it's having high octane rating, the pour alcohol is having high octane rating, the knocking tendency of the fuel is less. The air required for the fuel, that is pour alcohol, to undergo combustion is also less. So and the efficiency of pour alcohol is more. So these are some of the advantages of the pour alcohol. When it is having so many advantages, it should also have some of the disadvantages. What are those disadvantages? Let us see. Pour alcohol may cause corrosion. How will alcohol cause corrosion? So what is alcohol? C2H5OH, right? So this, when present in engine, presence of oxygen, may undergo oxidation to give aldehyde. Aldehyde undergoes oxidation to give acid, right? So this acid may corrode the inner parts of engine and piston. Therefore, the life of engine may reduce. Okay, the alcohol will undergo corrosion. Okay, and the alcohol will undergo oxidation to give acid. This acid will corrode the inner parts of engine and piston. It is having low calorific value. Okay, so the air entering into the air which is entering into the engine should be regulated, because alcohol, it's very volatile liquid, right? So if the air entering into the engine is not monitored properly, it might explode. So we are supposed to monitor the air entering. Okay, otherwise engine might explode. So these are the disadvantages. Other major advantages, you can use same engine without any modification of engine design. You can use the same gasoline engine without any modification of the engine design. Thank you.